All right, this video is for two of the problems on factoring or on complete the square practice number 2. I'm going to complete the square for each problem and then decide if the answers are factored or if the quadratic could be factored. So number 2, I start with negative 2x squared plus 12x plus 10. And remember, when I do complete the square, I want to make sure that the leading coefficient is 1. Here I have a negative 2, which is not a good thing. So I need to divide every term by negative 2. When I do that, I'm left with x squared minus 6x minus 5. And now that's good, though, because my leading coefficient is positive 1, and I'm able to complete the square. What I do next is I add the 5 to both sides, and I replace that 5 with a box. So x squared minus 6x plus a box equals 5 plus a box. The box goes on both sides of the equals. To fill in the box, I take half of this middle number and square it. So half of negative 6 is negative 3 squared, which is 9. And 9 goes in both boxes. Now, this left-hand side here simplifies to be 14. The left-hand side factors into two factors that are exactly the same. This is a perfect square trinomial. To fill in the box, or the number part of the factors, I always take half of this middle number. And here the middle number is negative 6. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. So I put a minus 3 in both. All right, now I'm going to scoot up over here. That condenses to be x minus 3 squared equals 14. Now, in order to get x by itself, I take the square root of both sides, which is x minus 3 equals plus or minus radical 14. Remember, when you take the square root, you have a plus or minus. And then you add 3 to both sides. I know I've said this a lot, but when you add 3 to both sides, it gets squeezed right in front of the plus or minus. So your answer here is x equals 3 plus or minus radical 14. Those are your exact answers that are going to go up on this line. That's what x equals. Because those are irrational numbers, that means that this quadratic is not factorable. All right, let's skip to number 7. When I factor this, I have x squared plus 4x plus 29. I'm sorry, complete the square. I have a leading coefficient of 1, so I'm allowed to jump right in to complete the square. And I'll do that by subtracting 29 from both sides. That's going to give me x squared plus 4x plus my box equals negative 29 plus a box. To fill in that box, I'm going to take half of 4 and square it. Half of the middle number is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So you're going to fill in your box with a 4 on either side. Now my left-hand side, this trinomial here is going to factor. Remember, it's going to factor into a trinomial. They both have, or into two factors that are the same. They're both going to have an x. And the number part is going to be half of the middle term, and half of positive 4 is positive 2. The right-hand side here is negative 29 plus 4, which is negative 25. Okay. Now, the left-hand side is going to simplify. I condense these to be x plus 2. The quantity squared equals negative 25. Now to get x by itself, I take the square root of both sides, which gives me x plus 2 equals plus or minus. Now, think about how to simplify the square root of negative 25. When I have the square root of negative 25, I first have to pull out a square root of negative 1. I'm going to have an I in my answer times the square root of 25. Well, square root of 25 is 5. The square root of negative 1 is I. So it turns out that the square root of 25, negative 25 is 5i, which I need to put after the plus or minus. All that's left to do is move the 2. I squeeze it in front of the plus or minus here. And my final answer is negative 2 plus or minus 5i. Those are my exact answers that's going to go in my box. So that equals negative 2 plus or minus 5i. And because those are imaginary with the I here, I also cannot factor this quadratic. And if you need extra help, you need to check the key that's posted on Canvas or ask your teacher for more help.